Tonight, we're crossing the line between science and supernatural terror. What you're about to witness will shatter everything you believe about reality. Ancient cultures worldwide have screamed warnings about creatures so horrifying, so impossible, that even mentioning their names was forbidden. But what happens when thousands of witnesses across centuries can't all be hallucinating? What happens when physical evidence appears in places where nothing should exist? Are you ready to question not just what's possible, but what's hunting you right now? Because after tonight, you'll never look at shadows the same way again. Panangalan, the floating nightmare, Malaysian folklore. In the suffocating darkness of Malaysian nights, something that shouldn't exist. Tears through reality itself. They call it the Panangalan, a woman's severed head that flies like a demon, trailing her writhing organs, blood vessels, and intestines like grotesque streamers of death. This isn't folklore. This is documented terror that's haunted Malaysia for centuries. Picture this horror, a beautiful woman's face floating toward your window at midnight, her hypnotic eyes glowing with supernatural hunger. But as she draws closer, you see the nightmare trailing beneath, intestines writhing like serpents, blood dripping in streams, organs pulsing with unholy life. This is what happens when forbidden black magic goes catastrophically wrong. Panangalan was once human, a woman who delved too deep into dark rituals until something tore her very soul from her body. Now she exists as pure supernatural hunger, seeking pregnant women and newborns to drain of life essence. Here's what makes her unstoppable. She can shrink to slip through keyholes, meaning no lock, no barrier, no hiding place can protect you. Villagers hang thorny branches because her trailing organs get tangled in spikes. The only way to trap this floating harbinger of death. Warning signs are terrifying. A wet, slithering sound on your roof means she's already found you. Her supernatural beauty paralyzes victims with fear. One look into those glowing eyes and you're frozen, helpless, waiting for those razor-sharp teeth to drain your blood. Modern Malaysia still reports sightings, security cameras capturing floating shadows, unexplained bloodstains appearing overnight, and the distinctive sound of something wet dragging across rooftops. Scientists can't explain it. Skeptics can't dismiss it. The Panangalan hunts tonight. Gashadokuro, the Bone Colossus. Japanese folklore. In Japan's ancient battlefields, death refuses to stay buried. The Gashadokuro, a 90-foot skeleton born from concentrated rage, represents what happens when suffering becomes so intense it tears holes in reality itself. This isn't just bones. This is vengeance made flesh. Imagine walking through a moonlit forest when the earth trembles. Trees snap like twigs as a colossal skeleton erupts from cursed ground, its hollow eye sockets blazing with hellfire. This monster exists because hundreds of warriors died starving and forgotten, their collective fury fusing their bones into one apocalyptic nightmare. The warning system is bone-chilling. Before it manifests, you'll hear gachi, 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 the sound of massive skeletal joints clicking together in perfect, deadly harmony. That sound means you have seconds to run before those enormous bone hands crush your soul. This creature is nearly indestructible. Bullets pass through harmlessly. Swords are meaningless. Only the most powerful Buddhist monks can temporarily banish it through sacred rituals, because the Gashadokuro feeds on human life force itself. One touch from those colossal fingers, and your soul is instantly drained, leaving behind nothing but an empty shell. The most terrifying truth, the Gashadokuro never truly dies. It simply returns to the earth, waiting for the perfect moment to rise again. In modern Japan, subway workers report hearing that ominous clicking echoing through tunnels at midnight. Construction crews find unexplained giant bone fragments buried in city foundations. When the dead outnumber the living, the earth itself becomes a weapon. Baba Yaga's hut, the walking house of death. Slavic folklore. In Russian forests stands a house that hunts humans. Forget everything you know about architecture and safety. Baba Yaga's hut walks on massive chicken legs, stalking through ancient forests like a predatory skyscraper. This living nightmare thinks, hunts, and kills with terrifying intelligence. The legs are massive and muscular, yellow, scaly, with razor-sharp talons that shred trees like paper. The hut spins constantly on its perch, making it impossible to find the door unless you know the ancient command. Little hut, turn your back to the forest and your front to me. But entering means facing Baba Yaga herself, a cannibal witch whose iron teeth bite through human bones. The house chooses its victims. Windows glow like demonic eyes in the darkness, watching, waiting, judging. The surrounding fence is built from human bones topped with glowing skulls that track your movement. Warning beacons made from previous visitors who never escaped. Here's the reality-breaking truth. The hut exists in multiple locations simultaneously, functioning as a living portal between dimensions. Russian hikers report massive chicken tracks in remote forests. Some witness the hut dancing between trees. At midnight, its legs moving in hypnotic, impossible rhythms. Modern sightings persist because this nightmare defies the laws of physics. Search and rescue teams find three-toed prints leading to empty clearings. Security cameras capture shadows moving on chicken legs through impossible terrain. When architecture becomes predator, where can humanity hide? Jersey Devil, America's oldest nightmare. American cryptid for 300 years, something has terrorized New Jersey with scientific precision. Born from a mother's desperate curse in 1735, the Jersey Devil represents supernatural malevolence perfected over centuries. When Deborah Lead screamed, "Let this one be a devil," about her 13th child, the universe listened with terrifying attention. The transformation was instant and horrifying. The newborn sprouted massive bat wings, its face elongated into a horse-like, snout filled with razor teeth, and deadly claws burst from tiny fingers. It shrieked like a banshee, killed the midwife, and flew into the night to begin 3 centuries of documented terror. This isn't folklore, it's recorded history. Over 2,000 reported sightings span 3 centuries. In 1909, the Jersey Devil appeared to hundreds of witnesses simultaneously, leaving cloven hoofprints in snow and claw marks on rooftops across multiple cities. The creature demonstrates terrifying intelligence. It stalks specific families across generations, appears before major disasters, and shows supernatural awareness of human activity. Witnesses describe glowing red eyes that burn into your soul and a bone-chilling scream that echoes for miles. Physical evidence defies skeptics. Unexplained footprints, systematically mutilated livestock, mysterious disappearances. The Pine Barrens remain one of America's most dangerous wildernesses, not because of natural threats, but because something ancient still hunts there. Recent sightings include security footage of winged shadows, unexplained aircraft radar contacts, and hikers finding massive claw marks on trees 20 feet above ground level. Strigoi, the original vampires, Romanian folklore long before Hollywood. Romanticized vampires, Romania knew the terrifying truth. Strigoi are reanimated corpses driven by insatiable bloodlust, the real vampires that make movie monsters look like children's toys. When someone dies violently or lives in pure evil, their malevolent spirit refuses death's finality and claws out of graves with superhuman strength. The transformation is grotesque. Skin becomes waxy and corpse pale, fingernails grow into razor talons, and eyes burn with unholy fire. But their most terrifying ability is perfect shape-shifting. They become wolves, bats, or mist instantly, making them impossible to track or escape. Romanian villages still practice ancient protections because strigoi represent devastating supernatural reality. Garlic and silver provide minimal protection against creatures that drain life force through touch. The only permanent solution requires decapitation and immediate burning, and even then, some return from total destruction. Modern evidence is chilling. Contemporary Romania reports unexplained deaths where graves have been disturbed. Bodies found completely drained of blood with no medical explanation. Security cameras capture shadowy figures moving at impossible speeds through locked cemeteries. Vlad the Impaler was suspected of becoming a strigoi, inspiring Bram Stoker's Dracula. But the real creatures are far worse than fiction. They're pure supernatural hatred given physical form. In Romania, crosses aren't jewelry. They're weapons against the walking dead. Kappa, the polite killer. Japanese folklore. In Japanese waters, politeness might save your life from something that looks innocent but kills without mercy. The Kappa appears as a harmless turtle child with green, slimy skin and a water-filled bowl on its head. But this innocent facade hides superhuman strength that crushes bones like twigs and a feeding preference for human blood and organs. Their hunting method is brilliantly sinister. Kappas mimic drowning children, crying for help near dangerous waters. When adults rush to rescue the child, the Kappa drags them underwater with iron grip, using its razor-sharp beak to tear through flesh and feed on internal organs. Here's the bizarre supernatural twist. Kappas are bound by absolute politeness. If you bow respectfully, they must bow back, spilling water from their head bowl and temporarily losing all power. This strange weakness has saved countless lives throughout Japanese history. Modern Japan takes Kappa threats seriously. Official. Warning signs appear near dangerous rivers. Children learn Kappa safety protocols alongside swimming lessons. Fishing communities report unexplained drownings where bodies show mysterious puncture wounds and missing organs. The unsettling evidence continues. Cucumber offerings disappear overnight. Strange webbed handprints appear in mud after drownings, and some rivers show unexplained currents that pull swimmers toward deeper water. In Japan, respect isn't just culture, it's survival strategy against supernatural predators. Kushtaka, the shape-shifting saviors of death, Alaskan Tlingit folklore. In Alaska's deadly waters, your rescue might be your execution. Kushtaka are supernatural otter people that perfectly mimic human appearance, often becoming beloved family members to lure victims. In waters where survival depends on instant trust, these creatures blur the line between salvation and predation with lethal precision. Their deception is flawlessly cruel. When fishermen fall into bone-numbing Arctic water, they hear familiar voices calling from shore. A cherished relative beckons them to safety. But following these rescuers leads to certain death in the wilderness. As the Kushtaka reveals its true nature, the transformation is terrifying. In true form, Kushtaka are massive otters with human intelligence and supernatural speed. They shift between forms instantly, making it impossible to distinguish genuine rescue from elaborate trap. Their wet fur glistens with otherworldly sheen, and their eyes hold unmistakable human cunning. Traditional Tlingit elders warn that Kushtaka steal human souls, trapping consciousness forever in their underwater realm. Survivors describe hypnotic voices that make you forget your identity and follow willingly into freezing depths. Modern Alaska continues reporting mysterious disappearances near water. Search teams find only otter tracks leading to ocean's edge. Coast Guard records show unexplained rescue calls from empty coordinates where no humans should survive. When every savior might be a predator, trust becomes the deadliest gamble of all. The creature you just witnessed is only the beginning. Right. Now, as you sit watching this, 7 billion people share this planet with horrors that science refuses to acknowledge. Each shadow could hide a predator that defies natural law. Each unexplained sound could be your final warning. The real question isn't whether these nightmares exist. The question is, how many are watching you right now? Stay alert, trust nothing, and remember, in a world where the impossible becomes inevitable, the most dangerous thing you can do is assume you're safe. Sweet dreams, if you can manage them.